Hello everybody and welcome to another Snapshot tutorial video on the StellarTrek. My name is Peter Tusick with Humanware and I am going to be talking about the virtual keyboard layouts and how to type or input text using the unit itself. You can certainly input text using a Bluetooth keyboard, or you can also input text if you have a USB-C keyboard by plugging it into the USB-C port on the bottom of the unit. But this won't be necessary because we can enter text using the
city name
virtual keyboard. Now I am in a city name field just to bring up a sample of the virtual keyboard, and I'm going to talk about both layouts that exist. We certainly can dictate here as well, which I'll demonstrate again these other input methods, dictation and the Bluetooth keyboard entry in a separate video. But for our sake today, we're going to talk about the two methods that we are able to work with. We also covered this briefly in the Startup Wizard, but I currently am working with the English Qwerty keyboard. What happens when I have the Qwerty keyboard selected is anytime I enter an edit field, I'm placed on the letter Q, and I will have the standard Qwerty layout. So if I press my right arrow,
W,
I will move over to the W, and I would be moving across this Qwerty row of letters. So Q, W, E, R, T, Y, and so on, right? Across that top row, if you will, if you're visualizing a Qwerty keyboard. If I press my down arrow, I would move. Again, I'm at the Y, so if I press my down arrow,
H,
I'm moving below the Y into the H. So now I'm on what we would consider to be home row. So if I move to my left, I would be at G, F, D, S, A, and so on. And so again, this is how I can navigate my keys. And when I find a key or a letter that I want to input into this text field, all I have to do is press the confirm button. So again, your QWERTY row is across the top. Your ASDF, GHJKL kind of row is in the middle. On the bottom, you have your ZX C row going across. You also, when you reach a letter you'd like, you can press confirm, or you can press and hold if you want to make an uppercase letter. So let's just say I wanted to input
S,
an uppercase S. And there are two ways of doing this, but let's just try the first way. So I'm going to press and hold my confirm button.
S,
And we hear a higher pitched S. It was a little bit raised, and that tells me now this letter is selected as being uppercase. So if I press confirm, I have now input an uppercase S. What I can also do with this menu, with the press and hold menu, is I can choose alternate characters. So let's go up here to E,
W, Q, E.
Now, when I'm on the E, if I want to press and hold, I will bring up, of course, that uppercase E as my first choice.
E.
We hear that it's kind of higher pitched, but if I move to the right, so if I press my right arrow,
E grave.
you now have other options. So if you need to enter special characters, certainly if you live in countries that require the input of special characters that are not just English sort of letters, think of your ñ in Spanish, or your E umlaut in German and others. You can use this menu. So again, press and hold and then move to the right.
E acute.
You have your E acute,
E circumflex.
E circumflex,
E diaresis.
E diaresis, and so on. So you can find the special characters that are needed. And again, in addition to kind of having that uppercase letter as the first option. Now, there are other ways to enter uppercase characters. So I'm going to use my down arrow and come to the bottom of my keyboard.
J, M, space.
At the very bottom, we will have a space. To the left of the space,
Switch to numbers.
we have a switch to numbers option. So you can switch to a telephone style keypad. Or if I press left again,
Shift.
we do have a shift option. And we currently hear that it says shift off. If I press confirm here and turn this on, now I am in uppercase mode. The entire keyboard will be uppercase. So again, if you don't want to press and hold on a specific character and then tap when you hear the raised character being spoken, what you can do is turn shift on, and now as I navigate my keyboard,
X, S, D, F, G.
we hear that all of the letters are pitched up because I'm currently in uppercase mode. So if I find an O, for instance,
J, U, I, O.
Here's my O, and I just navigated to it by moving above my home row to the QWERTY row again and moving to the right. When I press confirm,
Off.
I've put in the O, and you hear it say off. So it turns off that uppercase. One other thing to note on the bottom left, if I come back to my shift key, so again, I'm going to press down until I get to space here.
Dot. Space.
Here's my space. I'm going to move to the left.
Switch to numbers.
Here's switch to numbers. Move to the left again.
Shift.
Shift.
Switch to symbols.
And then we have a switch to symbols option. So again, there are a couple of symbols that are present on the right side, kind of to the right of your P, L sort of row. Certainly you have your period there and others on the bottom row, but you do have a few symbols there. But if you really need to find something like an ampersand or other symbols that may not be kind of brought up on this original QWERTY keyboard, the kind of default QWERTY keyboard virtual layout, you can activate this switch to symbols area, where if I do this,
switch to letters.
so I just activated it. Now here it's going to say switch to letters because it's going to be in symbols mode until I come back and tell it to switch back to letters. But if I press my up arrow,
Euro.
here's euro,
yen,
cent, and so on.
Inverted exclamation mark.
And here's all your different symbols up here. Again, I'm just moving up a row,
opening bracket,
up 2 rows,
single quote,
and you have all of your other options here. So you can explore kind of where these symbols fall in this virtual keyboard. I'm going to come back down.
Yen, shift,
and again,
off.
to the left of shift,
switch to letters.
I can bring it back to letters. So I'm going to activate that.
Switch to symbols.
And now it will say switch to symbols because I'm currently viewing a letters keyboard. One other thing to note here, and again, I just pressed left and there's nothing all the way to the left. You'll know when you've reached the boundaries of your keyboard because nothing is present. If I come up above the QWERTY row,
A, Q.
so here's my QWERTY row. Above this,
1,
you have your number row. 1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
and so on. Now, I've entered characters by hitting confirm. So let's just say I want to put a R in this. I can just press confirm. Now, what if I don't remember what I've entered? At any point when I am in an edit field such as this, I can tap my voice button, which is the bottom right button on your unit, and you will hear what you've entered thus far. And I've entered some interesting things. So I'm going to press my voice key.
SOR.
S-O-R. And you hear that I've entered an uppercase S, an uppercase O, and a lowercase r. And we get that because the pitch is shifted. So the S and the O are of a higher pitch and the R is just there. So that indicates, okay, I've entered a capital S, capital O, and a regular R. To delete a character, I can press and hold my left arrow.
R.
I just deleted the R. If I do it again,
O.
I can delete the O. If I do it again,
S.
I can delete the S. So you are able to delete characters. Again, you can hear what you've entered thus far by pressing your voice button. You can delete characters by pressing and holding your left arrow. I'm now going to show you what the other keyboard layout looks like, and that is the keyboard that is present with the ABC layout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to our Explore mode, and I'm going to show you where the setting is to toggle between these two keyboards. So again, if you do not prefer QWERTY, or maybe you're not familiar with the visualizing of a QWERTY keyboard, you certainly have another method that is far more linear, and I will show you what that looks like. So I'm going to press and hold my back button.
Explore.
And get back to Explore. Explore always brings us back to kind of our Explore mode. That is if we tap and hold our back button. So press and hold. I'm going to come into Settings by pressing and holding my down arrow. So we're going to press and hold down arrow.
Settings.
And
Bluetooth.
This is where we can change Bluetooth. We certainly have a video on that, or connecting to Wi-Fi. Maps management is here. Lots of choices. What I want to do, though, instead of moving to the right a bunch of times, I'm going to move to my left. So I'm going to press my left arrow. Again, if I hit up or down here, nothing happens. I can't move up and down in these menus. But if I press left 2 times,
About System.
I will be on the System option. I'm going to press Confirm.
System. Device status.
Now, this is where we can do quite a few things, and we'll explore more in future videos. But I'm going to move over to Regional Settings. So I'm going to use my right arrow.
Feedback. Regional Settings.
2 times until I get to Regional Settings, and I'm going to press Confirm.
Regional Settings. Distance units.
Now, this is where
feet.
you will have different options here. You can change your distance units, your time format. Do you want 12-hour or 24-hour? And the other option here is, if I use my right arrow,
Keyboard layout.
Keyboard
English QWERTY.
layout. And we are currently here that mine is set to English QWERTY. So again, I pressed and held the down arrow to get into Settings. I used my left arrow to go over to System, pressed Confirm. I moved to the right a couple of times until I heard Regional Settings, and now I've moved using my left or right arrow until I get to the keyboard option. If I press Confirm here,
Keyboard layout. English QWERTY.
here's English QWERTY, but if I press my right
Press
arrow,
Confirm to select this value.
let's move to the right.
English A, B, C.
All right, and this is the other method
Press
for
Confirm
entering
to select this value.
text. So I'm going to press Confirm and show you what the ABC keyboard looks like.
Keyboard layout change to English. A, B, C. Regional settings.
Now again, to get out of here,
Keyboard layout.
to get
English.
back,
A, B, C.
you'll hear that it now says my layout is set to English ABC. To get back to Explorer, I'm going to press and hold the back button.
Explore.
And now at this point, I'm going to briefly pause the recording and get myself back into an edit field to show you the typing experience. All right, so I'm in a text field, and I now have, again, same methods for uppercase and all these pieces we covered with special characters, but the difference now is I'm placed on the letter A by default instead of the letter Q, and as I move to the right, my top row, instead of being QWERTY, it is A, B, C, D, and so on, all the way to the letter J.
E, F, G, H, I, J.
So A through J is on that top row. If I move down, the middle row is going to contain K, L, M, N, O, and we'll go see what else is there. So again, I'm going to just move back to the beginning here.
F, E, D, C, B, A.
Okay, so right below A, again, we have A through J on the top row.
K.
K, so the top row is actually A through J. The middle row is going to be K through
L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S.
So it's going to be through S.
Underscore.
We then hit the underscore. So K through S is our middle row, and our bottom row, and again, you do have some characters here, your underscore,
Slash.
your slash, some other things around this middle row you can kind of explore. The bottom row is going to be
S, P, O, M, K, T.
T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and then again, some other symbols that you can explore. Same method goes here. If you wanted to make an uppercase letter on any of these in the ABC layout, you can certainly press and hold and bring up that special menu and activate your raised, when you hear that higher pitched letter, that would be uppercase, or you can use shift. It's down at the bottom here.
Switch to symbols.
So again, if I move to the right, I've gone all the way down to switch to symbols, move to the right.
Shift. Off.
Here's our shift that we saw on the previous keyboard layout. Again, move to the right again, we'll see switch to numbers.
Switch to numbers.
We'll see our space here at the bottom.
Space.
And so on. So again, it's just the matter that of the keyboard layout being a little bit different. Just as in the QWERTY layout, the number row is across the top. So above A through J, if I use my up arrow and go all the way to the top, here's 4. If I move all the way to the top left,
1.
Here's 1, 2, 3, and so on. So above A through J, you will have 1 through 0. Once you've entered text using whichever preferred keyboard method you want, again, you will delete letters the same way, you will read what you've entered the same way, so you will tap that voice button to read what you've entered, press and hold your left arrow to delete characters you may have inadvertently entered in. All the way to the right,
Say done.
you have a done button. So you do have a done button here, and this would be how you would submit or kind of enter or finish your text. In this go to address field, you could certainly also use the go to key, as we learned in a previous video where we manually entered an address. You also do have a delete key.
Delete.
If you prefer to delete by pressing confirm on delete as opposed to pressing and holding your left arrow. Again, a quick video on how to work with both onboard virtual keyboard layouts. That would be English QWERTY and your English ABC. Thank you for tuning into this Snapshot tutorial video. We hope you find these helpful, and we will certainly be back with more. And if you haven't watched more, please check them out. Thanks, everybody.